The information provided by Trading Forex Price Action to you does not constitute personal financial advice. The information provided is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation, or needs. It should not be used, relied upon, or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice.
Midweek Analysis.
Hey guys, this is a midweek analysis for July 28th of 2021. Alright, we'll start off with the Audnzd pair. This is a monthly chart. We'll start off with an overview. So there was a normal double bottom right here. And relative to the double bottom, there was a weak trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. So in the long term, I was long biased right up to this trend line level right here, and possibly up to the second target at this pivot high right here. And that first target was hit a couple months ago. However, on the weekly chart, since the last long trend that formed in this area already hit its target at this level right here, in the medium term, I was short biased right back down to this pivot low right here. And that target was hit last week right here. So since the long term and medium term at this point both hit its targets, in the short term, I am neutral biased. Okay, let's talk midweek price. Okay, this is a weekly chart. Let me run you by the setup I've been looking at for the past couple of months. So there was a weak short trade that formed right here and a strong long trade that formed right here. So at this point, the bias was long, or in other words, price is likely to reach this pivot high up here before reaching this pivot low. So as price came up, I was looking for long trades, and moreover, as price came down, I was still looking for long trades. And then at this point right here, another strong weekly long trade formed. So at this point, this long bias's stop loss was moved up to this pivot low, or in other words, price was now stating that price is likely to reach this pivot high up here before reaching this pivot low. So again, as price came up and came down, I was constantly looking for long trades. And then as price came up to these levels right here, price hit that first long-term target of that monthly downward trend line at this level right here. And moreover, we found that this last weekly long trade's main target was hit at this level right here at the same time. And the confirmation of the main target hit was on the lower time frames, if you recall. So at this point, the bias changed from long to short. In other words, price is likely to reach this pivot low right here before reaching this pivot high. And so as price came down to these levels and price was pulling back, if you recall, I was looking for a pullback at least to this 1.0830 levels up here. So I could take a short entry with this stop loss at this pivot high right here and its main target right here. However, price did not reach that entry level at 1.0830 by roughly 20 pips. And then for the last couple of weeks, price came right back down to hit its main target of the new short bias at the last weekly long trade stop loss level right here. Okay, so at this point, since this weekly main target was hit last week, on this weekly chart, the bias is neutral. Alright, and for educational purposes, let me go ahead and explain to you how I knew that the target for the last weekly long trade right here was hit at these levels. So let's go over to the daily chart. Okay, so on this daily chart, just for reference, that last weekly long trade that formed was right here. So the stop loss was at this pivot low right here, and its main weekly target was way up at these levels right here. Now the reason I knew that this weekly long trade hit its main target at these levels right here was, first of all, there was a monthly trend line that ran right through this level right here, which I showed you on the overview. But moreover, there's also a monthly medium gap level at these areas, being an area that shows a lot of higher time frame future strength short. And so I was keenly watching these areas on the lower time frames to see if there's any confirmation of this weekly long trade's target being hit. Now the first price element on the lower time frames that showed me that this weekly long trade possibly already hit its target was a fake 4-hour double top that formed in this area. Now fake double top shows short-term long strength. However, still price came right back down to its projected target level at these levels. So at this point, that was the first hint that showed me that this weekly long trade possibly already hit its target at these levels. And then moreover, if you recall, there was a daily long trade that formed right here, with this stop loss being at this pivot low. Now due to this daily long trade being relatively strong within the context of a weekly long bias, If this daily long trade stop loss gets hit at this level, if you recall, I was mentioning we'll get a breakdown first to this pivot right here, and then further right back down to that last weekly long trade stop loss level at this pivot low right here. So at this point, when this daily long trade stop loss was hit at this level, that confirmed to me that this weekly long trade's main target was actually hit at these levels. Okay, so in this way, when you're not sure when a trade's target has already been hit, it's important to look at the lower time frames to see if there's any short-term, short strength with the analysis methods that I just showed you. Alright, so since that medium-term bias's target was hit at this level last week, and thus I'm neutral bias in the medium term, let me show you what I'm looking for in terms of the future bias on the higher time frames. Okay, so let's go over to the 4-hour chart. Alright, so on this 4-hour chart, and perhaps even on the daily chart, a common way to predict the higher time frames bias through the lower time frames are certain price action scenarios. Now, for example, if price on this 4-hour chart makes a strong long trade right here, and if it consecutively makes weak short trades as price comes up in this manner, this is a very common setup in terms of gradual higher time frame long strength building. Now, this is the same price action setup that happened on the dollar-yen pair last month, if you recall. Now, in a price action setup like this, price often comes up and makes a weak short trade. Thus, as price comes down, you're looking for long trades right up to this pivot high as a target. And moreover, another weak short trade forms. So as price falls again, you're still looking for long trades right up to this pivot high as a target, and so on and so forth. So at this point, I'm looking for price action setups like this that actually predict the future bias on the higher time frames. Okay, and moreover, I'm always looking for compact long price action to form. So let me just demonstrate that on the weekly chart. Okay, so again, if there is any compact long price action on the lower time frames which shows strong long strength, this price action itself is enough reason for me to change the weekly bias into long right up to the last weekly short trade stop loss level at this pivot high right here, which is also the long-term second target I was mentioning in the overview. Okay, so again, at this point, I'm looking for any compact long price action to form on the lower time frames, and moreover, any price action setups on the 4-hour chart or the daily chart that I showed you earlier, where there's a strong long trade and there's consecutive weak short trades over and over. Okay, all right, so that's it for the midweek analysis. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.